Hello, and welcome to another episode of Still Not Famous. We are on episode 6, which is entitled Dial S for Soundtrack, or is it S for Score? I am one of your co-hosts, Josh, and I'm going to introduce my other co-host, whose drunken ramblings are always the soundtrack to my life. It's Nathan.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, I think you're going to be like the composer. We'll call you the composer of chaos this week.
I mean, I've been called worse
Seems
things,
fitting.
so been called worse things by you, to be fair.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that is true.
In today's episode, we are going to dive into a deep dive into film scores and soundtracks. But I think before we do our deep dive, I think it's best we just actually cover what is a score and what is a soundtrack. So I'm just going to do a little bit of educating for our listeners. So a score is background music specifically written for a movie. 9 times out of 10, it will be instrumentals, whereas a soundtrack will take music that is already popular and layer it over the film. So, to give an example, a score can be the Star Wars theme by John Williams, whereas a soundtrack could be all the popular songs that are used in the film Guardians of the Galaxy. Would you say that is a fair assessment, Nathaniel?
Yeah, I think it's pretty accurate, Josh. Yeah, you've explained that pretty well. Yeah, well done.
Oh. Do you know, I had to get my proper teacher hat on for that one.
I'll put my dunce hat on. I'm ready. With my dunce hat now, let's go.
Well, I suppose we better dive straight into it then. Now we've got our little description out of the way. So, when it comes to film or TV, what is your earliest memory of a score or a soundtrack to a piece of media that made you pay attention and think, "Oh, that is really good"? Something that just sticks in your mind.
Well, I suppose you already just touched on it in the opening intro there. For me, it definitely Star Wars. With the iconic sort of opening scene, chasing the space cruiser and the big John Williams bombastic orchestral piece. I think that's what really made me take notice of music. I mean, I was only, again, when was that film? 77. So, by the time I was probably 3 or 4 when I'm first noticing that. But other than that, the other big one would be Jaws, the menacing 2-note, frightening piece of music that every time you get in the sea, you play it over them 2 notes over your head, till you shit yourself up and come running out of the water.
Do you know what?
What about you?
Those are 2 very good examples. I mean, especially the Jaws one, the film that made everyone afraid to go into the water.
Yeah.
So one of my picks
and
was
both
actually
John Williams as well. So
John Williams is a very talented composer. So
very talented.
one of my picks was going to be the Imperial March by John Williams, but my other choice, I mean, no shock to anyone who knows me because it's my favourite film ever, but it's going to be the Jurassic Park theme tune. I feel like that's a really iconic one. I mean, that's a very rubbish impression of it, but anyone who's seen the film will know exactly which score.
And that's why
I'm referring to.
That's why you're not involved in music, AJ.
Yeah, the industry doesn't allow me to be. They've got a warrant out for my arrest. But yeah, I feel like when it comes to iconic kind of score, that is where my mind goes to. But also, I'd like to add, when it comes to stuff like TV shows, I think the Game of Thrones one has a really good piece of intro music. In fact, all the music on Game of Thrones is really good, but the intro music especially.
Well, it's again like sort of in the vein of John Williams. It's very epic sounding, isn't it? And I think it pricks your ears up and makes you take note.
Yeah, I remember when I first watched Game of Thrones, like I didn't really pay too much to the soundtrack, but or the score even for the intro, but I feel like as it went on and I got more and more into it, the more it was like, rather than just get through it at the beginning, I'm going to sit there and enjoy the 30 seconds it's on screen, essentially. Have you ever seen
Yeah.
that YouTube video where they take the Game of Thrones theme tune and they just dub over it with someone going Peter Dinklage? So it's Peter, Peter Dinklage, Peter, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage.
I
You
don't
ever
think
seen that
I
one?
have. No,
I'm gonna have to send you it after this episode.
I'm going to check that out when we get off. When we get off from here, I'm going to check that out. Yeah, I mean, it's funny that the first three that we spoke about there were again going back to John Williams. Although I'm sort of deviating away here from our earliest memory, but again, John Williams for me. I mean, like you say, he's done so much, hasn't he? Harry Potter's and you've got all the Spielberg. My favourite thing. I mean, they're all my favourite. I mean, I love the Raiders March, but I love the theme for Catch Me If You Can, Leonardo and Tom Hanks.
Do you know what? I've seen the film, but I wouldn't be able to tell you what the music sounded like from it off the top of my head.
Oh, well, there's definitely a piece of music in it, and I think it's where it's kind of ramped up, where Tom Hanks is getting closer and closer to sort of snagging Leonardo, and it's just this. I mean, it's kind of I mean, it is orchestral, but it's more almost jazz infused. It's almost kind of got this weird 40s jazz vibe to it. I love it. I think it's one of my favourite pieces from John Williams. Again, I love the Raiders March. Yeah, but yeah, that's it's not an earliest memory because that was well in my 20s.
So what? A good 50 years ago? I'm just kidding. 49.
Good job, I love you. Good job, I love you. Yeah.
When it comes to soundtrack versus an original score, do you have like a set preference? Like, would you rather one or the other? And if so, do you have like any examples as I prefer a score because if you take X film, for instance, it enhances it, yada yada yada. Or do you like them both equally?
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? Because again, I think you and me watch a lot of films, don't we? Because we always, speak on a daily basis about what we've watched and what we've seen. I think you can sometimes watch a film and it just works, doesn't it? Either it's a beautiful piece of score, or it's a soundtrack with sort of kick-ass tunes on it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like Danny Elfman's one of my favourites. Who did a lot of the well, pretty much all of them, I think, the Tim Burton films, but also famous for doing the Simpsons soundtrack. Theme tune. Sorry. He was in a band apparently, and he still is. A weird band called Oingo Boingo. Did you know that?
No, I did not know this. No. And do you know what?
No.
For all the stuff Danny Elfman's composed, I always forget he did the Simpsons soundtrack.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think he is, but I love his stuff. But like you say, like Tarantino's. I mean, he definitely knew how to incorporate, well-known songs, or sometimes probably lesser-known songs, but actually his films probably brought them back and made them bigger than they probably previously were. I don't know if that's a bit controversial, but Um,
No.
but
I kind of like somewhat agree. Yeah.
yeah, but one of my favourites at the minute is David Fincher movies. He uses Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, who Nine Inch Nails,
Do you know what I was about
rock
to
band.
say? Trent Reznor is not a very common name, so I was going to say I assume from Nine Inch Nails, but yeah.
Yeah, but he's done a lot. I think he did the um, soundtrack to Gone Girl, Social Network, two really good films as well.
I
But
love
the
both of those films.
soundtracks
I
are
especially
amazing.
love Gone Girl, but I love both of those films.
Yeah, it's weird with Gone Girl, isn't it? Because I'm just not a Ben Affleck fan, and I can't help but liking him. I think he did a really good job. Yeah, all round the film, brilliant.
I think a lot of the music in Gone Girl, and it kind of ties in a bit to the plot, I guess, where it has this feeling of ambiance, but there's like a sinister undertone to it. I think that's probably the
Mm.
best way I can describe it. I used to watch Gone Girl like whenever when I was single, I would think to myself, "Oh, I'm ready to find love again" and whatnot, and then I'd watch Gone Girl and be like, "No, someone's going to try and murder me." No, like I'm staying single.
Brilliant.
I
Have you
suppose.
watched? I was going to say, have you watched One Battle After Another yet? I think we spoke a while back, didn't we?
No, I mean, one battle after another sounds like my life at the moment, but the film, no, not yet. I'm afraid.
Well,
I'm
that
going to wait for it to be free on
uh,
Amazon Prime. I think.
yeah, yeah. Honestly, it's such a great film. I mean, the soundtrack for that was Johnny Greenwood, who's the guitarist for Radiohead, and I think he's done a couple of films now before Paul Thomas Anderson, but um, One Battle After Another. Yeah, it's almost like a I don't know how to describe it. It's a bit of like a chase movie, and the music, um, you know, really sort of gels well. You know, it goes like the film starts going really erratic, and the music goes erratic. It just goes hand in hand with each other. It's so good. But again, Johnny Greenwood, brilliant composer. I imagine he's going to have quite a future ahead of him if he's not doing stuff for radio. He'll probably be doing more films. So,
Well, if ever he becomes more and more popular, you've got to tell him, "Look, I was your number one stan on this podcast. I've even got the proof on recording."
yeah,
I think for
uh,
me, when it comes to a score over a soundtrack. I think an original score is nice, but if you have a film that's set within a certain time period and you need to bring back nostalgia, that's where a soundtrack works really well. And I've got a specific film in mind when I reference this, and that is the film Watchmen. Have you ever watched Watchmen?
yeah. It's been a while, but yeah,
Because of
yeah.
like the eras of time it's set over, uh, it helps kind of set the scene with the music that's in it. I mean, it starts off with a murder scene, and that is to the tune of Unforgettable by Nat King Cole. Fun fact, I went to my other half, one of his family members had a wedding in October, and I went along to it, and the bride walked into that song, and it was a really nice, sweet moment, and everyone was teary, and I was a little bit teary myself, but I also thought, oh, it's the music that that Jeffrey Dean Morgan gets flung through a window to in the beginning of Watchmen. So it shows how much of an impact film music does have. But I think as
I
well,
can say
like,
that's a bit risky as well, though, isn't it, Josh? Because aren't weddings like famously known for like bust-ups and fights? So it could have been like somebody could have got thrown out the window with a three-tier cake.
I don't know what weddings you've been to because I think every wedding I've been to has never had a bust up or a fight. At least not while I've been there.
I'd just be family. They're rough as anything, bless them. I love them all, but yeah,
But in
punch-ups, arrests. That's just the kids.
but in that film, you also have like All on the Watchtower, Ride of the Valkyries. It has a real big kind of mix of genres, and there's even a bit where someone goes out to dinner and they play 99 Love Balloons by Nena, or if you listen to the English version, 99 Red Balloons. And all of those songs I associate with different moments in that film. So that's why I think a soundtrack really does help enhance it. I think if you're kind of going for the nostalgic or like the cool angle, I think that's where a soundtrack really does kind of come into play. Not to knock film scores, you have a lot of very talented composers out there, like Hans Zimmer, for instance. His
Yeah.
cornfield chase scene out of Interstellar is a great one. And even though I'm not a massive fan of the film Interstellar, I can admit the soundtrack is amazing.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I watched it with my daughter Lily the other night. She'd never seen it, and it's a bit of a Marmite film, isn't it? I think people either love it or hate it. I think it's amazing.
I
And like you said, the soundtrack, unbelievable.
I really wanted to enjoy it. It has everything that kind of ticks the boxes in what I like in a film. I was bored. Like, I think some bits, like, I wish I'd watched it in IMAX, especially when they went through that black hole. I think that bit was, like, really impressive. But overall, I
Yeah.
was just a bit bored. But when you tell people, oh, I'm not a massive fan of the film Interstellar, they're like, well, I'm sorry you were too stupid to understand it. And it's like, I understood it, I just didn't enjoy it.
I don't know, Josh. You're dead to me now. You're dead.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have to invite you to one of our weddings. Throw you out the window to Nat King Cole.
We're sat there talking about scores and soundtracks, and both of us being British, there is a very quintessential soundtrack or soundtracks to a certain set of films that we've not touched upon, which is huge in terms of British pop culture, and that is the James Bond theme songs. Uh,
Oh, that's where you're gonna go. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and God, a whole host of songs to choose from. But one, do you actually like the James Bond films in general, and do you like the accompanying music that goes with them? First of all, or are you a bit nay?
No, I love the Bond. I love Bond films. Um, I love the music. I love it all. Yeah, I've always enjoyed it. What you say. Yeah, can't go wrong with Bond, especially the theme tunes as well.
I must admit, when they announce a new film, I am always excited to see who's going to do the theme tune and what direction that person is going to take with it. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but when I think of my favourite Bond theme, it's it's actually a tie between two, and that is
Go on.
"You Only Live Twice" by Nancy Sinatra. Because not only does Nancy
Nice.
Sinatra sing a great song, but the backing music to it is so cool. And then the other is "Nobody Does It Better" by Carly Simon, because my dad has a Carly Simon Greatest Hits CD, and he used to play it, and that song is on. So, but
That's so cool.
but an honourable mention does go to "The World Is Not Enough" by Garbage, because I think that is quite a good one as well. But to be
That's a
fair, I
good one.
like more Bond songs than dislike Bond songs, to be honest. I mean, do you have
Yeah.
a set favourite or favourites?
I have. I have. Um, but I'm thinking what I'm going to do, Josh. I'm not going to tell you. Right. Well, I might tell you, but I'm not going to tell you on the podcast. What I'm going to do is I'm going to message you tonight, right? My answer. I reckon what we should do is have a bit of fun, right? So everybody who's listening now to this podcast, to this episode, Josh has just asked which is my favourite Bond theme. I do have one, and I really love it. I reckon the first one to get on the comments on our Instagram page and name it and the artist. So song title and the artist. First one to get it first, get it right. I'm going to send him a little gift, Josh.
Okay.
I'm going to
I
send him a
mean,
nice
I
little
have two
gift.
more questions to ask.
It's going to be a coffee mug, a still not famous coffee mug with our lovely mugs on it.
I mean, I
So
hope you're
maybe I've
designing it
just
because I've not made one. So,
oh no, I've got it. It's all ready to go, packaged and ready. So whoever wins it is going to get it sent to them.
oh,
Maybe
so
I might have just ruined it now, and they don't want it. They don't want our mugs on the mug.
do
Like
you?
they're looking at them in the morning when they're trying to drink their coffee in despair of going to work. But
Well,
anyway, first person to
we
go
need
on
to set some
Instagram, our
rules.
page.
Which
Yep.
which one are they commenting on? Instagram, Spotify, YouTube?
I'm going to say let them go on the Instagram on this episode and put in the comments who you think my favourite theme artist, theme, film, song title, whatever, whichever order.
Well,
And you're going to win.
that takes my
Lovely
mum out the
mug.
running. She doesn't use Instagram.
Well, we can't. It would look like we're cheating if we were just giving it away to family members. We should charge them anyway. I'm so mercenary.
Well, to make it a bit easier, I actually do
Yeah,
have two more questions around Bond themes, and I don't want to
go on.
relay this down to questions. So hopefully, this might make it a bit easier for listeners. So I was going
Yeah.
to ask, do you have what your worst Bond theme is?
Oh, worst one. Uh, hmm, I don't know. I don't know if I do. I feel like I want to say Paul McCartney, Live and Let Die, but
Wow.
I really do like Live and Let Die. I'm not a fan of Paul McCartney, love the Beatles, but I don't. Yeah. No, I haven't. I couldn't say there's a bad one. Again, I quite like Live and Let Die, so it's probably my least favourite. Not that I don't like it; it's my least favourite. So there you go. I'm going to say Live
Really?
and Let Die.
Oh wow, that's like one
Well,
of
I've
my
got a
tops.
question for you then, John.
Yeah,
Out of all the Bond theme songs
yeah,
on the UK single charts,
yeah.
yeah, who had the highest? Who charted the highest?
Well, I know Billie Eilish got to number one with No Time to Die, so I know if we're counting the
Did
UK
she?
chart, she did. Don't tell me you've not
No,
looked at your chart
UK
facts
chart.
before doing. Yeah, that is the UK
Yeah,
chart.
no, I beg to differ.
No, I hang out on music forums. I definitely know what I'm talking about.
Hmm. I'm going to have a quick look now because I don't believe you.
You're gonna have to
It's
look it
not that I
up.
don't. It's not that I don't trust you. I just don't believe you.
If you while you're looking that up, I am gonna say my worst Bond theme is "For Your Eyes Only" by Sheena Easton.
Okay.
I'm not a massive fan of the actual film it's associated with, but also like it's a bit of a meh song for a meh film.
Yeah.
Like they go hand in hand. They're both a bit meh.
Yeah.
Have you found out I'm right yet?
Well, I'm on Wikipedia. Oh, you were right. Sorry, I take it back.
Do you know
Okay.
what? Like that is one of the few times where I knew I was right.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have to.
If you're going to try and quiz me, you better make sure you come with the facts.
Uh, I reckon I'm sceptical now about using the Chat GPT to write out my resume.
The dangers
Oh,
of
anyway,
AI and not getting things right. But anyway,
yeah, yeah. Carry on. I'll let you carry on anyway. So everything I was about to say, just I don't believe a word of the internet anymore. So
if we'll move it off of James Bond in a second, but
yeah.
if you could pick a modern artist to do a James Bond theme, who would you pick?
Oh, good question. Good question. Um, who would I pick? You have to give me a few minutes. Have you got somebody in mind?
I think I think Lady Gaga could do a good one, and I say that purely because she already did a song for the Top Gun soundtrack, and she already did, music for A Star Is Born, the film she was in. So I think she could do one. I'm surprised, given how quintessentially British he is and how much of a British pop star he is, they haven't asked Harry Styles to do one. But again, I don't know what that would sound like. But also, if they wanted like a darker, rockier version, a bit like how Chris Cornell's one, My Name was a bit
Yeah.
edgier. I think maybe like the Arctic Monkeys or something.
Oh,
Or
okay.
if you wanted one that's a bit like Diamonds Are Forever or Goldeneye, then I think that would be up Beyonce's alley. So I think those would be like my top four picks.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't know how well this would work, but I'd like to hear maybe Deftones. Do you know the Deftones?
Oh yeah, I know the Deftones. Yeah.
So they're quite rocky and edgy, but they're quite melodic as well. And I think that's the Bond theme, isn't it? With all the themes, they're always quite melodic. Whoever's singing them, Shirley Bassey, Alice Mudd, Billie Eilish, they're all melodic. They're melodic, aren't they? And I think it might be quite a good take, Deftones, like I say, they could probably turn it up a little bit, get a bit rocky, but yeah, keeping the melodic theme rolling along. I'd quite like to hear that.
You know what? I
Yeah,
would never have guessed in a million years that would have been your pick, but that's what I like about your
yeah,
answers. They keep me on they keep me on my toes.
yeah, yeah. I think that's definitely Deftones. Mm,
So to put it off all of our James Bond glazing and to go
mm.
back to the topic at hand, we've obviously talked about John Williams quite a bit, but is he your goat in terms of composers? And by goat, I mean greats of all time. Or is there another one that we haven't touched upon as much that you'd like to say is your favourite composer?
Um, I mean, if we were to say John in a different universe, John Williams never existed. Um, I've touched on him already earlier. Danny Elfman, love him. Another one of my favourites, composed by Alan Silvestri. Do you know his name?
I'm afraid I wouldn't know unless you told me what they composed.
This is what always blows my mind because, like you say, I think it's that name where Danny Elfman, John Williams, Hans Zimmer, Alan Silvestri, Back to the Future,
Oh, okay, yeah.
Forrest Gump,
Oh,
Predator, Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
all films I love
He
as
also
well. Yeah.
created the Marvel Avengers theme.
Oh, that is a cracking theme as well.
Yeah, he did include in Infinity War and Endgame. He also did the Polar Express and Night at the Museum.
Do you know what? For such an incredible resume that you just read out, I'm surprised not more. Maybe other people do, and it's just me, and I just don't
Yeah,
move in the same circles as everyone else. But not someone like a Hans Zimmer where you just know off the top of your head who they are and what they do.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it always blew my mind for years, the Alan Silvestri one, because I always thought Back to the Future was a John Williams um, theme, score. I don't know about you, but it had that, again, obviously it's a big orchestral piece, but I don't know why. I always thought it was. But that's what led me down to looking into him more over the years, And then when you, like you say, you got Forrest Gump, you got Predator, Roger Rabbit, Polar Express. I mean, you couldn't get any, different from each film, could you? So, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I do love that film.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's definitely Alan Silvestri. Um, yeah, I think he's composer wise.
So
Like I
when
said, Trent Reznor is, I think, somebody if it keeps getting involved in movies will um, do do really well and be successful as well.
you see, when I was writing down my answers for this to reference back, I honestly thought you were going to say Hans Zimmer. So it proves that I don't really know like everything about you because you completely
No,
subverted my expectations.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. Yeah,
speaking
it's.
speaking of Hans
I
Zimmer,
know.
though.
Yeah, Karen.
Oh no, no, sorry, you go ahead.
I was going to say somebody else, not, not one of my favourites, but I appreciate his body of work. Um, John Carpenter.
Oh, of
So
course. Yeah.
yeah, John Carpenter. Not only does he direct his films, he does all the soundtracks. So he sorts all the music out. I think that's incredible. So he writes, directs, and does the music. Might as well act. He might as well just do everything.
Can't say he's not a jack of all trades at this point.
No, no. But yeah. So if anybody's never listened to John Williams before, there you go.
Did you mean John
John
Carpenter?
Hughes. John, John Carpenter.
There's too many Johns out there.
Yeah, as you touched on at the start of this podcast, Josh, the rambling drunkenness from me. Just by the
Oh,
way, I'm not drunk. I'm not drunk. It's just been a long day.
you are sober sometimes.
Yeah. For another hour. For another hour.
What I was going to say on mine is, and speaking of Hans Zimmer, if I had to pick one, I'm going to go with someone a bit more recent and current, and I'm going to say Ramin Djawadi. And I'm not going to lie to you, I watched about 5 videos where he said his name to make sure I pronounced it right, and I'm still not 100% convinced I pronounced it right just then. But he does a lot of the composing behind Game of Thrones, Westworld, and he does my favourite bit of music from Game of Thrones. Anyone who has watched season 6, episode 10, The Winds of Winter, he does the composing for the track The Light of the Seven, which is used in a very influential scene involving the Sept and what happens to the Sept in that scene. The only reason I'm not saying is because I'm worried someone's going to listen to this and then be like, even though that scene aired over 10 years ago, you've ruined it for me. So, but also he does a really nice little own score version of in Westworld season 2 of Paint It Black by the Rolling Stones, but it's a more of an
Oh,
Asian Japanese inspired version of it, and it's so good. Like,
yeah.
he
I
also
just
does
saw
another
that.
bit of Game of Thrones. Apart from the actual theme tune, he does another one called Misa, which is used at the very end of season 3. It's the very last scene that season 3 ends on. And all of those bits of music, like, just send, like, the, like, rush through my veins. They, like, awaken something in me where I'm like the serotonin is in my brain. Fun fact though, when I was looking up how to pronounce his name so I didn't cause any offence, I actually found that he has a condition called synesthesia. Do you know what that is?
No?
It's apparently a condition where he sees colours. So when he hears music, when he's composing, he's often trying to match colours for what he sees in his head to like visuals on screen. So I thought that was quite interesting.
It's quite interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah.
scenes where or bits in film where when you watch it they like send the serotonin through your body, is there a certain, and it can be happy or sad, and spoiler alert, I am going to pick a kind of sad one and then a funny one, but is there a bit of music or soundtrack where you associate it with a certain film and you're like, oh, that is really unforgettable, discounting the Jaws theme and all the ones we've mentioned earlier?
Ah, there's so many, isn't there? I think, like you say, it's usually the films with the scores more than the soundtracks. But I think, yeah, I think I've said it about Titanic before, but there's the pieces in the Titanic movie. Yeah, it's probably going to sound weird, but I think one of my favourite pieces of music is but it's actually played on the record player in the scene, but it's Gremlins when Billy's mum's in the house cooking and the Gremlins is hatched, and they put on that track by Bing Bing Crosby. This is the little drummer bit. What's it called? Do you see what I said?
Oh,
Said
okay,
the
yeah.
boy to the little lamb. Do you hear what I hear? I love it. I just love that. Yeah. Of course, I calls out and she kills him.
I think I think what's good about that scene is they take a song that in normal context is not sinister or malicious or evil in the slightest, but then they put it in that scene and it gives it that more sinister undertone.
I think that's it. Yeah, it's like a joyful, Christmas song, and yeah, and there's bloodshed and microwave gremlins. So, yeah, I love it. Another piece. love the music, but it always gets me. I think it's quite emotional. Um, Les Miserables, Hugh Jackman.
Ooh. Like, is there a particular one in Les Mis, or are you
Yeah,
just
what's it?
counting all of it?
Well, all of it. No, trying to think the title of the song. Um, well, there's a couple of pieces in there. There's what's the name when she's running through the streets. What's that?
Well,
She's
there's the very famous "I Dreamed a Dream."
yeah. Is it that one? Is that one when she's yeah, like John Belshon when he's yeah. That I didn't that Paul Pot song I'm thinking of. I think that Paul Potts something, didn't he, on Britain's Got Talent? Is it Paul Potts? One of them anyway.
Susan
Is it?
Ball sang "I Dreamed a Dream," but
Yeah, well, it's not that one. It's the God. Is it God? I'm fine. I don't know. I don't know what's called. Yeah, not come very prepared with that one. I do apologise. Yeah. Too many songs, too many films. What's yours anyway?
so I'm going to pick a sad and I'm going to pick a funny. So the sad one is a piece of music by Max Richter for the film Arrival, and it's called "On the Nature of Daylight." And they play it at the very beginning and at the very end of the film. And anyone who has seen Arrival knows that that film is very uh, the theme is a lot about beginnings and endings, and it when Arrival is a film where so the synopsis for any of the listeners who have not watched it is uh, alien spaceships have turned up to Earth, but no one knows why they're there. And Amy Adams is a linguistics expert, and they contact her to try and work out what the aliens are trying to say and what they essentially want. I just went to watch it thinking this would be a run of the mill like alien invasion film, and it was so deep and it blew me away. And after I'd watched it, I went home and probably sat and thought about it for a good couple of hours. And if the song comes up on my shuffle on Spotify, I'll instantly associate it with that scene. But if I'm not in the right mood to listen to it, I'm like, I have to skip. It's too sad because I associate it with certain scenes within that film and just that film in general. So I think that's a really good one. There's a really when the violin kicks in, it's like, right in the field. uh, but the funny one, so I'm gonna go back to a film that was released in 2010 called Easy A, which has Emma Stone in it. Have you ever watched that film?
No, very glad.
So in that film, there's a funny bit where she gets a card from like her grandma or something, and she opens it and there's money inside, and it says "You're my pocket full of sunshine," and the song "Pocket Full of Sunshine" by Natasha Bedingfield starts playing, and she slams the card shut, and she goes, "Ugh, worst song ever," and then it cuts to like the next morning, and she opens the card again, and she starts singing along to it. And it montages throughout her day where she listens to it over and over again and gets more and more into it, and to a point where she's in the shower and she's singing along to it. And if you look in the background of the shower, she's taken the card into the shower with her so she can sing along to it. And then later on in the film, it ends up becoming the ringtone on her phone. So I always think that's a funny one.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I think I've got one that it's more of a personal, an emotional um, memory. But 1992, 93, the film The Bodyguard.
Oh,
I will
okay.
always love you. Spent 10 weeks at number one. And I don't know if you remember me saying in the previous podcast, that was when I went on a date with Karen and she dumped me after the film.
I,
So
I love how
for
the
the
grudge
next,
against Karen is still spilling over into another episode.
well, she lives rent free in my head. So for 10 weeks, Josh, every time I hear I Will Always Love You on the radio, I would cry myself to sleep at night.
The worst part is when she said she didn't want to see you anymore, it was possibly what a lot of people consider like the most romantic film ever. So when that song was playing at the end, did she like
Yeah.
turn to you and went, "Don't get any ideas"?
No, it was on the way home. She's done me in the car, I think.
She was
Done me in
like,
the car.
"Hey, you know that song 'I Will Always Love You'? Yeah, not that."
Yeah. I was never gonna live up to Kevin Costner. I think that was my problem. I was spotty in 13
Well,
with a
Kevin
mullet.
Costner is not only associated with that being a really long running number one. Sorry, I got a bit tongue tied there. He's also associated with another. I mean, at the time, I think it's been shattered now, but for 16 weeks, him
Yeah,
being in that Robin Hood film where Brian Adams does the theme tune to Everything I Do for You. Uh,
yeah,
yeah, so I think the answer is if you're Kevin Costner, you're going to have a song that is going to be at the top of the charts for ages if it's associated with your film.
yeah, yeah. I think he's like well, he definitely was then, weren't he? He was the golden ticket if you wanted to hit number one, get him in your movie. Uh, I think probably where I went wrong. Yeah,
Everything you do,
yeah.
you do not do for her.
I didn't do for Karen anyway, did I, Rich?
I wonder if Karen's listened to this.
Karen might actually get the answer right on the Instagram, which is my favourite Bond song, and I'll have to originally give her a mug.
To go back to that, are you going to give anyone any hints? Or is it just going to be.
No, why would I give hints? That's just makes it easy, don't it? How
I
many
just
Bond
thought you were
songs
being.
are there? Must be about 30.
I just thought you were being hashtag be kind, but.
No, no, I don't be kind. I'm old and miserable, aren't I? I'll be kind to people.
Miserable ever since Karen dumped you.
Yeah. 3 decades, 4 decades. I don't know decades. I still hold a grudge.
I'd love it
Caroline.
if she's listening to this and she turns to like her current partner and she's like, see, I told you, rent free.
Yeah, she's probably not. She probably lives in Malibu with Kevin Costner.
Speaking of uh, songs to films, is there a film where the film itself is not great, but it has a theme song associated with it where you're like, oh, that's actually pretty good?
Oh God, there's a few, isn't there? I bet if we went 1, 2, 3 together, we'd probably pick the same film.
I don't
We
know.
tried.
I think mine's going to be different to yours. Okay,
Let's say it. One, two,
1, 2,
three.
3.
Batman Forever.
Deeper under. Nah, you say yours first, but mine's definitely different.
Okay, well, Batman Forever. I mean, there's some great tunes in it. But, I mean, I love Batman, but I don't know. I'm not going to say anymore. Just
So Batman
yeah,
Forever is
Batman.
"Kiss from a Rose" by Seal, right?
Yeah, that's it. It had the U2 one, didn't it? There's some good songs on it. Some good songs on it.
Do you know what? Like, I I think my mum used to listen to "Kiss from a Rose" by Seal, but I can't remember if I'm remembering it wrong and if she listened to it or if it just happened to be on the radio when she was driving us about in her old little Vauxhall Corsa. But it's one of those songs where I didn't really appreciate it when I was growing up, but now I'm like, what a song. But the thing is, though, like, it has no relevance to the film whatsoever. If anything, it was like Seal already had that song, and then they went, Seal, can you do a song to this film? And I was like, yeah, just take this one. But my answer was going to be the song Deeper Underground by Jamiroquai. Now, do you know what film that is the soundtrack for?
I do. I do. It
Oh,
is. Was it 99? Is it Godzilla?
98, so you're not far off. But yeah,
Okay.
that film itself, the 1998 Godzilla, is a bit of a guilty pleasure. Like, I could admit it's not great, but I do enjoy watching it. I love a monster flick in general, uh, regardless of whether the CGI is good or bad. But that song is a banger. But the problem is, well, at least the version I listen to on Spotify, if it's on my shuffle, and I tend to have my music quite loud, I have noise cancelling headphones, uh, is if it comes on, the very start of it has a very loud Godzilla roar. So I'll be walking along and this loud ass Godzilla roar will come through my earphones. And it's almost like sensory overload, like I want to collapse. Like, like if I don't know it's coming, it like proper like throws my vibe off and I have to like take a few seconds to recover from that really loud Godzilla roar. It's like
Well, it is a
it's
bit
like
tricky
it's
for
like
you then.
oh
I've got a bit of tribute for you regarding that song,
Okay.
Iroquois. We told you the story. It's a bit like Uncle Albert, aren't it? War stories.
During the war.
Me and a few friends, we knew somebody that worked for JK, like a kind of PR assistant type thing. Anyway, she rang us up one day and she went, "Will a few of you come and help us pick up a mixing desk, this recording mixing desk?" So we went in a van, big truck, went to Reading, I think, loaded this. It was about 15 foot, if not longer, long, and it was hanging out the back of the truck. Didn't fit in the truck. They'd pulled the shutter down and breathing out at the back. Anyway, we transported it to his house in Buckinghamshire, and he was converting his pool house into a studio.
Oh, okay.
And the first thing he recorded was, what's it called? Deeper Underground.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, so he recorded, that was the first thing, and then of course he recorded that album that came out after that. But, so you've got me, Josh, to thank for that song probably being as good as it is, because I transported mixing desk.
You know what? Any other thing you've done to annoy me has gone out the window now because you're associated with that song.
Yeah, it was worth about 300, 400 grand, this mixing desk, and we were like, man, if this falls out the back of the lorry, we're doomed.
Does that mean you're also responsible for the Godzilla roar at the start of the song that sends me into sensory overload each time it randomly comes on shuffle?
No, that's nothing to do with me. It's me waking up in the morning.
What I'm going to do is I'm also going to mention a song that's associated with a film, which I hate because I take any opportunity to slander this song. So I'm going to dive straight in there. And you may not have one, but I definitely do. And it is Happy by Pharrell Williams. Now, Happy is a song where I didn't mind it the first one or two times I heard it. But do you remember that phase where it felt like it was everywhere? To the point where you turn on TV and just the first couple of notes of it would like send me into like a blind rage. I'd have to like turn my TV off and be like, ah.
I think for me, I really didn't like what James Gunn did with the Suicide. With the Suicide Squad. I don't know what it was. It just didn't sit sort of right. I loved when he picked all the songs for the Guardian films, but I don't know. He just felt like he kept throwing in songs just for the sake of it.
Is there any particular one where you're like, oh, that feels a bit out of place?
Probably all of them. And yeah, I liked his Suicide Squad, but yeah,
We're going to have to respectfully agree to disagree on that one because I do really love the Suicide Squad. Obviously, when I say Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad, the second one, not the awful first one. And I don't particularly remember any song from that particularly sticking out as, oh, this doesn't fit.
Well, the first one, Suicide, I mean, that was just a mess, wasn't it? Everything was a mess about that.
I remember seeing the first trailer, and it was actually quite sinister. And I remember feeling so hopeful, like, oh, it has a really cool, like, dark edge to it. And then I watched the second trailer, and they made it a bit more, like, kind of, like, funny and, like, gimmicky. And I was a bit like, oh, no, I can see where this is going.
I think the whole Jared Leto thing, for me, just should have just left him out. I think it was already a rough film, and then he just made it, even though he's in it sporadically, made it 10 times worse.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if the films Jared Leto has been in, like, he's done music for them. I assume so. Because if he has, maybe that's the reason he keeps getting hired. He's like, let me in your film and I'll do a bit of the music behind it.
Yeah. He's in with it, or he might just be in with it.
Well, he keeps getting cast in things, so he has dirt on someone.
You know, maybe he's got dirt on Kevin Costner.
Maybe,
Karen.
maybe him, Kevin Costner, and Karen are in a throuple relationship just to rub salt in the wound for you.
So I'll be crying again now for the next 10 weeks. Be like 1992 all over again, crying into my cornflakes.
If it makes you feel better, in 1992, I was 1 year old.
Yeah. You was how old were you?
I would have been one. Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
So we were both crying, me as a child, but you for a different reason.
Yeah. 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 I always thought you was older than that. Sorry.
Wow.
I was just getting you back for earlier, sorry. I can be a bitch too, Joe.
Coming from 1 foot in the grave over there. Well, judging by the state of you, it won't just be 1 foot for long.
Mildew. Mildew. Mildew.
Well,
Yeah.
obviously you're in a band. If your band were to be offered to do any song for any kind of franchise film, what kind of franchise film would you want your band to do a song for? Would it be a James Bond? Would it be a Marvel? Would it be a DC? Would you have anything in mind?
Well, we're pretty awful, so it probably has to be like a silent movie, like a Charlie Chaplin.
Well, like the Artist, when that came out.
I was born then. That was when I was crying to sleep for 10 weeks. What a current film? What,
Or well, we could look back. You can say, there's a film series where I wish I'd have done the music for that because it's so like iconic.
Okay. Nah, because I don't think there is. Because, like you say, I think anything that I've ever loved. It's like that what I said earlier at the start of the podcast. You know, sometimes the movie's brilliant and beautiful and thought-provoking, and the music complements it, doesn't it? And sometimes the music or the score's really good and the film shit. So I think if there was a film, there's definitely not a film that I'd love. Maybe a shit film. Maybe Suicide Squad. Yeah, that's.
Do you know what someone my mum was close with helped out in being involved in quite a few films.
Oh, yeah.
And one of them was Die Another Day by James Bond, and that's considered like I didn't mind the film personally, and I didn't mind the soundtrack by Madonna, but a lot of people hated the soundtrack because it was like electronic and not in keeping with what a regular Bond soundtrack film sounds like. But whenever I see that film now, I'm like, oh no, I'm associated with that person who I didn't like. So maybe you can associate yourself with the Suicide Squad and then be like, great, another reason people can hate it.
Yeah, that's it. I'm having Suicide Squad just for the sake of it. I'd get to have Margot Robbie in the music video. That'd be cool. I mean, Margot Robbie. Seems like a good egg.
Yeah, she does. Like, it's wild to think.
Even though she's Australian.
Well, we can't slag off the Australians because one, I'm not racist in general, and two, we worked with an Australian. Do you remember? I don't know if I ever told him I gave him this nickname, but do you remember Human Angel Wiley?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever told him that's the nickname I gave him, but it's the nickname I gave him in my head. Yeah. And he was like the sweetest person, like not a bad bone in his body.
Everybody, I do love Australia. I don't like the Sharks.
No, do you know what? The wildlife in Australia puts me off going. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm
Yeah,
afraid of
yeah.
spiders at the best of times, let alone the place where the worst ones come from.
I'm just put off by their beer. They only have Castlemaine 4X.
But to go back to Australia, Human Angel Wiley, if you are listening, even though it's been what, like 4 years since we've seen you, we still love you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wonder if he is listening. Maybe he can comment if he is.
I
And
doubt
then
he is. He's probably
I'll
like,
send
who?
him a love as well.
Uh, well, I suppose we better wrap this one up. So I'd just like to remind listeners that we do, if you want to show your support, we do have an Instagram out there. So the handle is at Still Not Famous Pod. Feel free to drop us a follow, drop us some comments, especially if you want to win this free mug from Nathan.
And don't forget the
Also,
mug. Yeah,
we also have a Facebook page, which is Still Not Famous. We have a TikTok page, which is at Still Not Famous Pod. You can comment and like us on Spotify, and you can comment and like us on YouTube. I will give the same warning that I always give out on these, which is if you are going to comment on Facebook and you leave anything derogatory, my mum is a lurker in the comments. But what I failed to mention in the previous episodes is she goes to church every Sunday. So I'd like to add that she does have God on her side as well. So do with that at your own risk.
yeah. Don't mess with God.
No, exactly. But
Mm.
we are going to leave that one there. But we will be back soon. So whatever
Yeah.
time of day you're listening to this to, it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And we'll speak to you
Good
soon.
night. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.